Let's appreciate something about church historian Justo Gonzalez, what he's talking about in terms of the atrocities that were committed by the church. There's no way to deny them. The atrocities were there. What Columbus initiated and what the Spanish will do, everyone else is going to replicate. The British, the French, the Dutch, all in their attitudes towards native peoples and then their attitudes towards Africans. So the black beans and the red beans are going to face the racialization process from the white beans. I liked what Justo Gonzalez was sharing, the church historian, what he was sharing about Cortez, and especially the way that he described him as he was a very sincere Christian who was also a thief and a murderer. So let's understand and appreciate something about the priests, because the priests are also going to be the ones that are going to be writing historical and anthropological studies of native societies. Andrés de Olmos, Bernardino de Sahagún, and Ramirez de Fuenleal, who became the president of the Second Audiencia, as they will be interpreting and historically revising native experiences. But the native peoples are as the last part of that film clip shares on Christianity, is that native peoples and Africans are going to absorb Christianity and they're going to give it new flavor because they are going to balance the demands of the outside world with their rich heritage to create a very unique experience with the church. In the eyes of the friars, native peoples are spiritual children. This is the attitude that they take towards native societies, is that, oh, they're just kids, they're infants, they're like very meek and docile and we need to help them out. They were seen as special wards. They were looked upon as meek, docile. They were they're industrious, but yet they're innocent. And of course, when we understand Bartolomeo de las Casas, he had their best interests simply because he was vested in their spirituality. And they are going to be treated most brutally because they are not going to be considered human beings, them and Africans. But as native peoples are going to understand certain things about spirituality. They are truly spiritual peoples, as I was sharing with you in their rich heritage, especially with regards to their nature ethics and their environmental religions. Because their nature ethics and environmental religions become very important here as Christianity is going to be introduced. Because Franciscan simplicity, the simplicity of most of the of the different sects of Catholicism, the Franciscans and the Jesuits, especially the Franciscans' adoption of poverty. Basically, the corporal works of mercy, and I don't know if you guys understand what the corporal works of mercy are in Christianity. Most of you probably don't understand it because you've been getting the Republican version of the Sermon on the Mount, because Jesus Christ has been portrayed here in the United States as some kind of capitalist. But Jesus Christ is a socialist, he's a communist. Why? Because Jesus Christ talks about feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give drink to the thirsty, shelter the homeless. These are known as the corporal works of mercy, not the Sermon on the Mount. Because the Sermon on the Mount talks about let's help peoples, let's help them survive as human beings. And when you do that, you get the gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit. But most people's religions today and Christianity in the United States don't address those issues. So the native peoples understood the corporal works of mercy. In fact, native peoples understand Christianity more than the Christians coming in to give them Christianity. And that's why native peoples are going to adjust and adapt their rich traditions with Jesus Christ. For instance, let me give you an example. There is this one woman in native society in Mexico, central Mexico, and she's known as Tonantzin. She is Mother Earth. There was a temple that was built in a hill just outside of Xochimilco for Tonantzin. And so what's going to happen is that Tonantzin is going to be equated with the Virgin Mary. We're going to get one of the most important symbols of native understanding of Christianity through the Virgen de Guadalupe. The Virgen de Guadalupe, she is not a European woman. She is not white. She is native. And the Virgen de Guadalupe is that amalgamation and syncretization, as you're going to be reading in the textbook, the syncretic culture that's going to be created out of this conquest. Because native peoples, one of the most important things about acute disillusionment that robs life of its meaning is that you have to look from within by which to say, hey, you know what? We are proud of who we are. And so here you have a very, very familiar symbol in Mexican iconography, in the Chicano experience, and that's the Virgen de Guadalupe. And everybody knows the Virgen de Guadalupe. She is a native experience. She is unique. It's not a European experience. It's a native experience. And the Virgen today, what is the Virgen all about? It is about the search for economic justice, the search for social justice. It's the search for justice. So here we have a very important part of what the last statement in that film clip about was that they gave the church a new flavor. They provided the church with a new orientation, both African and native. Quetzalcoatl was equated with St. Thomas, just to give you some other examples. And Cosijo was equated with St. Peter. The Basilica of Guadalupe, Guadalupe, the Virgen de Guadalupe, the Basilica of Guadalupe was built on the sacred hill of Tonantzin.